see the chapter number 14, that is natural resources. So in this chapter we will see first introduction part, then after natural resources, resources which is present on the earth, then after biosphere, in that subtopic atmosphere, then air pollution and its causes, then other bio resources, natural resources, rain, acid rain, then greenhouse effect. Later on, we will see about the environmental problem caused by the human, then depletion of the ozone layer, and why this ozone layer is depleted means the reason for the ozone depletion, then smoke. Another natural resource is water, its pollution and causes of water pollution. Then after we will see about the soil. In that we will cover the topic various factor which is responsible for the creation of the soil, living organisms like lichen, soil erosion and causes, then biogeochemical cycle, in that oxygen cycle, carbon cycle, nitrogen cycle, ammonification, nitrification and denitrification. So these all the topics we are going to cover in this chapter. Now let's move further. Start with the introduction part. The life on the earth which is depend on the resources. Resources like soil, water, air and energy from sun. So these all are the natural resources. What is the importance of these natural resources for the living organism? The sustain for the life, this natural resources is required. Which kind of natural resources? It's a soil, water, air, and the energy that is comes from the sun. Then after the uneven heating of air over land and water bodies caused wind. Now how the wind is arise due to the uneven heating of the air which is over the land and the water bodies, and due to that the wind is formed. Then the evaporation of the water from water bodies and subsequent the condensation is arise, and then after it is come as a form of rain. Then the pollution of the air, water and the soil which is affect on the quality of the life. We need to conserve our natural resources and use them in a sustainable manner. Otherwise, it will give the harm. Then after the various nutrition are used again and again in a cycle of fashion. This lead to a certain balance between the various compounds and the various components which is present in biosphere. Biosphere means where the living thing is there. It's called the biosphere. So the various nutrients are used again and again in a cycle fashion. This lead to a certain balance between the various compound of biosphere. Let's see which kind of topic, which kind of things we are going to cover in this chapter. As we know that the life on the earth is depend on the resources like soil, water, air, and the energy which is come from the sun. Then the uneven heating of air over land and the water, that land breeze and the sea breeze. Due to that, the wind is occur. Due to that causes the wind is arise. Then after how the rain come to the earth, as we know that the evaporation of the water from water bodies and the subsequent it is condensation, and at result is give the rain. And some of the pollution it's also arise due to the interfere with the interfere with the atmosphere by the human or mankind. Due to that such a pollution is occur like air, water, soil, etc., and ultimately it is directly affect to the living organism or even human being as well. Then after we need to conserve our natural resources and use them in a sustainable management, or you can say the manner. Otherwise it will happen that it will finish out. As per the, if you are divide these natural resources in uh, according to their uses, it is divided into two types, renewable sources and non-renewable sources. The renewable sources means after the using it is not depleted or it is not finished out. So that comes under to the renewable source of energy, like a sun, water, sun, then rain, wind. There's all kind of energy source that comes under to the renewable source of energy. Whereas a petroleum, diesel, gas, natural gas, these all the things are comes under to the non-renewable resources. Because if you are used it in one time, then for the production of this natural resource it takes too much time, and in future it may happen that it become to the finished out. So that kind of natural resources comes under to the non-renewable source of energy. Now the various nutrients are used again and again in a cycle of fashion. These lead to a certain balance between the various components of the biosphere. In that, we will going to study about the some of the cycle, biogeochemical cycle. In that, we see about the oxygen cycle, carbon dioxide cycle, and the nitrogen cycle. Now, let's start our chapter. As know that the chapter name is natural resources. So, first of all, the resources which is available on the earth and the energy from the sun are necessary to meet the basic requirement of the life forms on the earth. As we know that the resources which is available on the earth, which is very useful and which is give us energy to do the various function, and by which only all the living forms satisfy their requirements. So the resources available on the earth and the energy, the form, the sun are necessary to meet the basic requirement of all the life forms on the earth. If as that the basic requirement of all the living things, so that is satisfied by the sun energy. The stock of nature which are useful to the mankind are known as a natural resources. If asked that, write down the definition of the natural resources, then the stock of nature which are useful for the mankind that we consider as a natural resources. For example, all the minerals from which we can get the energy like a petrol, diesel, gas, natural gas means the wood, coal. These all are the natural resources which is useful us by which we can run our factories. We are satisfied our requirement. And some other natural resources are the air, water, soil, etc. So the definition of the natural resources, the stock of nature which are useful to mankind are known as natural resources. And the example of natural resources are the air, water, soil, minerals, etc. Then let's revise one more time the natural resources. The resources available on the earth and the energy from the suns are necessary to meet the basic requirement of all the life forms on the earth. And the stock of a nature which are useful to mankind are known as a natural resources. For example of natural resources are air, water, soil, minerals, etc. Now, resources on the earth. The next topic is resources on the earth. The outermost crust of the earth is called the lithosphere. Means the outermost layer of the earth that is called the lithosphere. Means the water cover in that the water covers almost 75% of the earth's surface, and it is also found the underground, and this comprise the hydrosphere. So in lithosphere, almost the 75% which is occupied by the water, and remaining 25% only the land is there. So the outermost crust of the earth is called the lithosphere, and the water covers almost 75% of the earth's surface, and it is also found the underground. This comprise the hydrosphere. The air that is covered the whole the earth like a blanket is called the atmosphere. Is asked that what is atmosphere, then the air that covers the whole of the earth like a blanket is called the atmosphere. If asked what is the hydrosphere, then the lithosphere, or you can say the earth crust, is almost covered by the 75% earth surface which is covered by the water, and it is also found underground, so that is known as the hydrosphere. If asked that what is lithosphere, then the outermost crust of the earth is called the lithosphere. And if asked that what is atmosphere, then the earth that is covered the whole of the earth like a blanket is called the atmosphere. Let's see one more time the resources on the earth. Then the outermost crust of the earth is called the lithosphere. The water covers 75% of the earth's surface. It is also found the underground, and this comprises the hydrosphere. The air that is covered the whole of the earth like a blanket is called the atmosphere. Thank you.